Truth Unveiled here, and today I have so much information to share with you. And the question that's going to be on our minds today is how close to the end are we? Because we're much closer than you think we are. And so today I'm going to be going over with you all of the mass animal deaths that have been occurring within the past couple of weeks, as well as share with you some more cryptic things that have been going on and what you need to know and how close we really are to the end. Because I'm here showing you this mass animal death list right here, and as you can see, within 2016 alone, there have been 309 known mass animal death events in 65 countries. And mind you, this is just in 2016 alone. And as you can see, for all of these reports, there are links for them so you can actually see them on your own time. But as you can see, within the past couple of days alone, there have been massive fish die-offs in China and places like China. There have also been thousands of dead fish that have washed up on beaches in America too, in Virginia to be exact. And then they tell us that there have been 1,000+ geese that have died due to avian flu. And notice how it's always the avian flu. I wonder who's causing it, but let's keep going. There have also been reports of tens of thousands of fish found in Canada, as well as tons of dead fish found in the Netherlands, not to mention Italy, Ukraine, America, Russia, Turkey, America, England, Taiwan, Brazil, and the list goes on and on. And as you can see too, it's also been reported a couple of weeks ago that there have been dozens of alligators and hundreds of fish dying every single day due to droughts in Paraguay as well. I wonder why that's the case. I wonder exactly what time it really is. Now, what's also very interesting and suspicious indeed is this CNN article that came out a couple of weeks ago that says why we're obsessed with building tall. And we're just going to go over a little bit of it so you can see exactly what it's talking about, but so that you can also see exactly what time it really is. Because it says, from the legendary Tower of Babel to the iconic Burj Khalifa, humans have always aspired to build to ever greater heights. Over the centuries, we have constructed towering edifices to celebrate our culture, promote our cities, or simply to show off. Has it ever occurred to you, or has it ever rang an alarm bell in your head why they would even mention the Tower of Babel to begin with, and then mentioning the Great Pyramids of Giza, the Egyptian pyramids referencing ancient Egypt, not to mention the Tower of Babel? Where else have I heard that? Because later on in this video, we're going to be talking about X-Men Apocalypse, and you're going to see all of the Tower of Babel references that were highlighted in the movie. Not to mention, didn't we see a Tower of Babel at the 88th Oscar Awards? And I did a video covering that. Very interesting and suspicious indeed. Is that a coincidence, or are the elite trying to tell you what time it really is subliminally? And my hope today is that you see the whole truth and nothing but the truth about the times we're living in and just what time it really is. Because do you really think it's a surprise that mass animal deaths are upticking, as well as we're seeing earthquakes upticking like never before, not to mention volcanic eruptions, and we're even seeing references that are alluding to the Tower of Babel. But that's not all we're seeing, because we're also seeing references to Noah's Ark. Oh, just like the days of Noah. Where else have I heard that? But let's keep going. It says full-size replica of Noah's Ark complete with wooden animals is heading to Brazil for the Olympic Games, but it needs a donation of biblical proportions to fund its voyage. Do you really think it's a surprise or a coincidence that mainstream media is pushing these themes such as Tower of Babel and Noah's Ark at a time like this? Nothing new is under the sun, and this is how the actual replica looks. As you can see, this is the replica that they were making and designing for the Olympic Games. Now, this actual replica crashed along the Norwegian coast a few weeks ago, but the reason I'm showing you this and sharing you with this is because they're literally telling you what time it is. But will you continue to slumber in your sleep, or will you wake up now to this truth? Because not only are they subliminally telling you what time it is with Noah's Ark and the Tower of Babel, but they're also even telling you with the economy as well, because professional economists have even told you that this economy is only getting worse from here. And the 2016 Economist cover, it even foreshadowed the economic collapse, not to mention RBS, or the Royal Bank of Scotland, that's even put out a cryptic warning saying sell everything. everything. Why do you think that's the case? Do you think they're just putting out these warnings for fun? Do you think they're just doing this stuff because they have nothing better to do? It's time to seriously think again and wake up to the reality that's right in front of you. But if you thought that was the only arc that was being pushed in mainstream media, oh no, there's always more, because I'm here at WLWT and it even says President Jimmy Carter visits Ark Encounter, and this was a couple of weeks ago, and the attraction for the replica of Noah's Ark is to open this month in Kentucky, actually. Do you think that's a surprise or a coincidence that they're opening this Noah's Ark around the same time that they're getting ready for the replica Noah's Ark to be showcased around the same time as the Brazil Olympic Games? Is that all a coincidence? I think not. But if that doesn't concern you, well, maybe this will, because here I am from a headline that was taken from the Wall Street Journal dated back from April 4th, 2016. And it says CERN is seeking secrets of the universe, or maybe opening the portals of hell. Operators of Large Hadron Collider gear up to battle conspiracy theories. And by the way, that term conspiracy theory is a term made up by your government to make you think that everything is a conspiracy, because that's exactly what they want you to think, because they don't want you to do research on your own. But anyway, why would they even mentioning portals of hell and opening the portals of hell? Because I did a report last month that talked about the tunnel opening in Switzerland and the big ceremony that happened with it and the satanic rituals that went along with it. And I even reported from RT how they even talked about the portals of hell opening, doorways of hell opening. Why are they always mentioning that? And why is mainstream sources constantly mentioning these things? But that's not all that's concerning, because we've been seeing very strange and cryptic activity indeed going on with CERN and some of the cloud formations above the Large Hadron Collider. And this isn't the first time that they're doing this, because of course they're trying to do everything they can to what they consider open up portals and doorways. At least this is what they're telling us. What are they really getting ready for? What are they preparing for? How close are we to the end? Because the reason you're seeing all of these anomalies when it comes to CERN is because of their experimentation. Now, I'm actually at the CERN website, and this was reported back from June 17, 2016, but it even says first beam enters unique awake experiment. What a very fitting title indeed. But it goes on to basically summarize that awake, which is also known as the Advanced Proton Driven Plasma Wake Field Acceleration Experiment, will be the first accelerator of its kind in the world. Currently under construction, but hopes to test the concept that plasma wake fields driven by a proton beam could accelerate charged particles. And it's also interesting and suspicious when it goes on to say that the beam comes from CERN's SPS, which just celebrated its 40th birthday. Now, what's interesting and suspicious about that is, they celebrated their 40th birthday. Oh, just like the Illuminati celebrated their 240th birthday along with America back in 1776. Oh, and the Church of Satan, how they celebrated their 50th birthday, and the Super Bowl 50th anniversary, not to mention the Queen's 90th birthday, the same Queen who told you that this past Christmas would be your final Christmas. Not to mention the upcoming Olympics that is supposed to be taking place in Brazil in a couple of weeks from now, actually. Well, this will be the 120th year since the very first one in 1896. Do you think that all of this is just a coincidence, or is it all pre-planned and staged ahead of time because they're getting ready for the birthing of their new world order? Because as you can see, CERN is wide awake. The question is, are you? And my hope today is that you are, because I'm here back at the CERN website, and this was reported back from May of 2014. It talks about CERN experiment sheds new light on cloud formation. And I just wanted to leave this with you. I'll leave the link below if you're interested in this more, so that you can see cloud formation and how they can modify and manipulate the weather. This is nothing new. And speaking of strange weather, that's all we've been hearing about and seeing worldwide, because not only have we been hearing an uptick in earthquakes in diverse places, but we've also been seeing all of the thunderstorms going on, massive flooding, record wildfires like never before, not to mention heat waves and droughts, and the list goes on and on. But this picture was actually taken today, and as you can see, this was taken from the city of Chicago, and you can see even a lightning bolt strike striking the Sears Tower. Very interesting and suspicious indeed. Now, the weather event that occurred in Chicago today with the lightning strike that hit the Sears Tower, I'm quickly reminded of what happened back in New York City as of September of 2015. And mind you, this event happened the day before 9/11, because as you can see right here, the rainbow happens to shine on the World Trade Center, which is right there. Then what does that remind you of? Well, when you think of a rainbow, that immediately reminds you of the days of Noah, just as we've talked about earlier with Noah's Ark being everywhere. Not to mention, it also reminds us of judgment and how judgment is even at the door. Are you seeing the warning signs? Are you seeing all of this stuff with both your eyes open? I hope so, because it's only a matter of time. But lately, that's all that Hollywood has been pushing, with themes of apocalypse and apocalyptic movies, as well as movies having to do with the apocalypse, such as X-Men Apocalypse, as well as movies like The Fifth Wave, 2012, The Purge election year, as well as Amerigeddon. What do you think they're trying to tell you? But what's very interesting about this movie, X-Men Apocalypse, and I'm not going to try to spoil it for you in case you haven't seen it, but if you were paying close attention to the movie, you would have heard the Tower of Babel referenced all throughout this movie, and they even show you Tower of Babels in this movie, as well as destruction depicted. But there's even a part in a movie where a girl has the vision of the end, and she even tells the very vivid vision of the end with destruction all over the place. This is according to the movies, not according to my own opinions. Do you see what time it is? Do you see what they're trying to depict to you subliminally? My hope is that you do, and my hope is that you start to see the world around you and start to awaken to truth and awaken to all of these things. You can call it whatever you want, but the reality is we're closer to the end, and we're closer than you think. Now, am I saying that anything will happen next year or the year after or even tomorrow? No, I am not. I do not know the future. I do not set dates. However, it is imperative that we stay awake and aware to the world around us so that we can see the warning signs and see the season that we're in. But as long as we're seeking Yahuwah and his true son, Yahusha, we do not have to worry. We do not have to fear. But this is Truth Unveiled, keeping you updated once again. And as always, saying shalom.